Immigration, probably not, well, it's not really that big a subject anymore. I mean, after all, you don't have Nigel Farage running around going, "Oh my God, immigrants, immigrants, immigrants! Oh my God, they're everywhere." He's not. He's no longer doing that dance. That is being made very clear in people's minds now. Their biggest worries are, of course, the cost of living crisis, the economy, and the fact that they might not be able to pay their heating bills. Those are the big key concerns. And even after 2016, it dropped off when we hadn't even officially left. Because again, it was all Farage pushing the worry about immigration. And I don't know about you, but if you've ever heard people, on the streets, in the pub, talk about immigration, it's never a factual argument. You look at the facts, and immigration was a net positive for our economy. We got migrants who came in and took, skilled jobs, which allowed companies to grow, which in turn grew the economy. Immigrants were net contributors to the UK GDP. They paid taxes and they took out less money of the system than they put into it. That was always the case. But of course, the feelings argument, because it's always a feelings argument, or I know X is happening in my town, and it's difficult to sort of argue against that because it's a feelings argument, unfortunately, at the end of the day. And to the quote, if infamous quote from the right wing, or at least a right winger, is that facts don't care about your feelings until it comes to immigration. Then, of course, feelings matter far more over the facts that immigration does to the country. And unfortunately, again today, it seems that we've got another big clash coming because businesses are desperate to get that immigration in. We've seen the boss of Next, who supported Brexit, says, this isn't the type of Brexit I wanted. I need, foreign workers to come and help, plug up some of the skills gaps, to help fill some of the jobs in. And that seems now to be a big clash of businesses now pushing to ease immigration into the UK so that we can fill these jobs. And here's the thing: immigration was not the issue. It was various other problems: lack of investment, lack of transport, lack of skills training from the UK government. Also, so many different reasons. And that was probably reason the why Farage was so popular and so successful, and why even the Conservatives encouraged him and even sort of joined in on that chorus as well. It was, look at the immigrants, don't look at us, because if you look at us, you would see why, you know, these areas that, again, like I just mentioned, are failing. And if you've ever had to look at the UK's current apprentice system, oh boy, what a mess! What a mess it is. You can see why skills training has been so bad under the Tory government. But anyway, we'll get onto this and Jerrick's comments about this, because, yeah, they're quite funny, because businesses know what they want, they know what they need, and they're asking the government for it, which they said, yeah, sure, we'll listen to we listen to businesses, we know what they need, we try and help them whenever we can. But when they go, yeah, we need more immigration because we're huge, these big skill shortages and worker shortages, we need, we need the immigrant labor to come and help fill these positions. Oh no, ooh, no, we can't do that. Suddenly they don't want to listen to businesses. So let's go diving into sort of Jerrick's comments, because they are quite funny. So before we go diving into those, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a motivation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. So we go to The Guardian to cover Jerrick's comments. The title of, UK will not ease immigration barriers to plug skills shortages, says Minister. The Immigration Minister, Robert Jerrick, has clashed with business bosses who have access to overseas workers, saying that companies should train UK staff to fill vacancies rather than relying on people from other countries. How long does it take to train that staff, though? If you can have access to people to come in and help take those positions that you desperately need to fill, then you can focus on training those staff. But you can't just go, here, random person off the street, go do this job that you've never had any training to do. It's not how it works. But the head of Confederation of British Industry, or the CBI, which states its annual conference on Monday, when we'll hear from Rishi Sunak, said that the current immigration system meant there was no momentum for growth. And that's another key big driver. If Sunak really wants growth, then you have to have a far more open immigration system so you can have come and people here to fill the jobs. Because if you've got people here to do the jobs, that means you can get growth. And unfortunately, because we've locked the door on freedom of movement and sort of put up a real more hardline immigration system, doesn't work. We haven't got those people now coming. But back to it. Jerrick, who also dismissed the weekend's report that the government was considering a more liberal Swiss-style post-Brexit relationship with the EU, told Sky News the aim was to reduce overall net migration. Ending freedom of movement was one of the, quote, fundamental principles of Brexit and could not be adapted, he said. I absolutely think you can. I think that people really do not have a problem with freedom of movement. I think there were, again, as we said before, bigger issues that the government should have addressed, which would have eased these worries far, far more effectively, but they just chose not to address them and sort of chose to take the easy way out and sort of, jumped on blame the immigrants bandwagon. Asked about the CBI's call for more targeted immigration to plug some more workforce gaps, Jerrick had this to say: I don't agree with that. We listen to the business community, and obviously we're aware of the certain skill shortages, and we want a, quote, pragmatic, sensible relationship with businesses. What did I say at the beginning? Oh, yes, we listen to the business community until they come back and tell us, okay, well, this is what you need to do. And then they go, oh, no, we can't do that. Some areas, he continued to say, had been addressed, such as vital visas for health workers, Jerrick said, but overall, our ambition is to reduce net migration. Again, this worry about numbers is nothing, right? It may sound like a big number, but in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. It really is nothing, But he continued to say, we think that it's what the British public want. Well, do they want it? You don't know. That was one of the driving forces for the vote in the vote to leave the European Union back in 2016. If I wasn't a business manager, I would be looking to the British workforce in the first instance, seeing how I could get local people into my business, train them up, and skill them to do the job. It's not that easy, as we explained. But speaking to Sky News straight after Jerrick, Tommy Darker, the general director of the CBI, said, where's the momentum for growth? That's why you have to look at things like immigration or planning or regulation. On immigration, he said, this should be a very simple system. What are the jobs we need to fill? Number one. Number two, have we got British workers to fill them? Number three, if you don't, let's use immigration on a fixed term basis to plug these gaps until British workers are ready to do the jobs. That's how our immigration system works today. That's why it's not helping us with our growth problem. When asked about the reports of possible future changes in the UK relationship with the EU towards a model that's used by the Swiss, Jerrick said that ministers were not considering this, saying, no, we are not, he said. We have a settled position. There was a long debate and there were respectable arguments on both sides as to the degree of the relationship that was to be had with the European Union. We do not choose, but we chose in 2019 and 2020 when Boris Johnson signed a deal with the European Union, which was very clear. There would be a jurisdiction of the European judges in the UK. We would be paying money to the European Union, and there wouldn't be freedom of movement. All those fundamental principles are the ones that we will govern our relationship with going forward. Doesn't sound like it. If there's, like I say, these rumors have really rattled a lot of the Brexiteers. They've really been rattled by a lot of those comments. And I think they're really worried that that might actually be a serious idea that Jeremy Hunt and Rishi Sunak are going to do. Because if they seriously want to achieve growth, then they have to lower the barriers that have been put up by Brexit to ease trade. Like, as we've said before, you cannot have a proper conversation about Brexit until you really discuss the problems that Brexit has created. And of course, you've now got immigration does play an important part in that. And again, immigration, when you, as we've said, when you talk about it to a lot of people, it becomes a feelings over facts argument. And very often, as we've said, when people talk about, oh, immigrants coming here, taking jobs, etc., very often they are really talking about problems that really immigration doesn't really have an issue in, sort of housing. Well, if the government had actually built more houses, there wouldn't be a housing shortage for social housing. Simple as. You talked about where you said, oh, business regulations and planning. Where are those from the government? They don't see them. Investment, lack of investment in areas, you don't see it. And as a result, you get a lot of people who just love to take the easy route, especially on the hard right, who just go, oh, it's those immigrants that took your job, not the fact that the government hasn't been investing, creating jobs, growing the economy in beyond, London for years. It becomes a feelings over fact argument for most of these people. And of course, was it Ben Shapiro that said it? Well, facts don't care about your feelings. Well, all of a sudden, feelings become the most important thing when they talk about immigration. But there you go. So, as always, very interesting talks, of course, about this Swiss style deal. We'll see, as always, what comes of it. Like I say, we'll keep you very, very posted, but it's got a lot of Brexiteers on very, very nervous edges, as you can see, even by some of those comments there. But there are certainly going to be a lot of clashes because, as I said, the government loves to say that they listen to businesses until businesses actually start to talk, and then the government just stops listening because they don't like what businesses have to say. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.